Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickel is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. This is the reading show on Fridays. Come on in. I always talk about a topic for a little bit and then I take readings. So if you have any questions, if you have a specific question like that you want to have focused on rather than a general reading, put down your question with your numbers and I'll pick them with cards, or I'll do some numerology. I might even do both. So hello, Tracy. Hello, Stephanie. Yeah, make sure you put down your question and your birth date just ahead of time, because that just guarantees you get a reading because you're one of the first ones to be down. And I always take some of the first people putting their stuff down, and then more people might come in. So that's my suggestion to you. Hello. And so, yeah. It's great to see everybody. It's great to do readings. What do we have going on? First of all, let's see. I'm going to be doing a numerology course coming up next month in July. And so details will be up on my website for that. And if you enjoy, what you see here with the numerology, it goes much more in depth within the classes. It goes much more in depth with the one-on-ones or the group settings, because, this is a modality. Card reading is a modality. Numerology is a modality. And if you want to learn how that modality works, if you want to work with it yourself, it's a fantastic class format to do so. I love teaching numerology and psychic classes and mediumship classes too. I just love teaching. So come on by for that, and just reach out if you ever have any questions. If you ever, I just want to encourage this. There's so many people who, last show was on Wednesday, and there's so many people who had questions and we just didn't get around to it. So it's don't be afraid to pop down that question, right? There's always a way for us to come back to it, and don't be afraid to reach out and have your question asked. So that's my advice, and there's always a way. There's always a way. The topic that I want to talk about today is intuition. And, that's something I always do. It kind of opens up the energy talking about it. And then I go right into the readings. And intuition is something I'd like to cover because so many people have questions on it. What's my intuition versus what are my thoughts? Hello, Sherry. Just pop down your questions, everybody. And really, it takes kind of this moment for you to experience what separates a thought from intuition. And so I talk about this a lot within energy. There's spontaneity, and then there's repetition. There's spontaneity, and then there's consistency. And a lot of times when we first start, we're hit by this bolt of lightning, and it's quite spontaneous. And it's wow, I've never gotten that before. Wow, I can't, what is that, right? Or wow, it was so clear. I saw the spirit, I talked to the spirit, or I knew that person was feeling, or I could just feel their life story. I just knew, right? And it kind of just converges, and you don't expect it. It kind of comes just over you. And then other times it's because we've learned wow, that's a thing, that's real. No one ever taught it to me, or, I just know that this is something, and you start to work with that. You start to wonder, you start to develop, you start to learn about what the energy is. And that involves that consistency. And so within the consistency, hello, Valerie. Hello, Stephanie. Thank you. Um, Within that consistency, you start to have these two beautiful things happen. One, you start to learn and you have this personalized relationship with the energy, and you actually can start like using it as an extension of how you see the world, meet the world, and it becomes a skill. The other thing is, since it's not spontaneous and it doesn't hit you like a bolt of lightning, you'll have a lot of inconsistency before you have consistency. I'm gonna say that again. You will have a lot of inconsistency before you have consistency. On average, it's just a given if you're looking to develop a skill. Because the first time spirit shows you the way, and the second time, you know, I would say, there's always an exception to the rule, of course, but spirit goes, "Hey, follow this path." And they'll show you how to walk the path if you just show up and you leave your mind open and you let them guide you. They'll show you the path. But we've never been within our society, most times within how our family raised us, or even friendships. We've never had time to cultivate how to sense spirit and how to work with that energy. And even if we were energy sensitive or we were in touch with mediumship as a child, even um, a lot of those muscles, they're just not flexed. We're not sure how to. It's almost like riding a bike. Okay, when we're kids, we're like, wow, like how do people ride the bike? You have to learn to balance the bike. And you have to learn to pedal while you're balancing. You have to learn to kind of juggle certain things um, as it's happening. And really, it takes a learning curve. And it's just a skill. It takes a learning curve. So spirit will kind of show you the way, but there's going to be like all these, it's like a more difficult bicycle, right? Because it's like, I would love if I got on the bicycle and every time that I was, just rolling along, it was like I could just pick it up, and once you know how to ride, you just you never forget how, because that's what a typical bicycle is. And that's honestly how it is with spirit, but it's like a very complicated bicycle. And a bicycle, every time you get on, there's like a new bell, there's a new whistle, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that this was here before. There's a new mechanism. So it's like the actual basic mechanical nature of a bike. It's like, oh yeah, I know the gist of it, but there's always something else. Like it's like, so that consistency can seem daunting to people. Hi, Anna, welcome. Um, because it's almost like once you kind of think you know something, things switch up. Once you are focusing on something, you won't always get, let's say, consistent results. When you start or when you're focusing on understanding my energy, you don't get consistent results most times. That's the norm. And so it's very emotional. It can be discouraging. It can be frustrating. It can make us doubt ourselves. That's why trust and faith are talked about so much in this work. Not just in this category. Of course, it goes into so much more why we need to have trust and faith. But yeah, it's kind of like it. We have to learn how to communicate and merge with the world in a way that we were never learned to. We're never showed to. And even if we did have that experience as a child, like I said, we never used it this much unless, we were full on diving into our intuition, unless we had curiosity almost every day. It takes a learning process, it takes a learning curve. And I just really want to encourage people with that, because I know so many people love this work and they quit. They quit or they take a break and then they never come back. They're like, maybe I have to work on myself. Maybe I have to find myself. And all those things are needed. Yes. And then it's like, wow, last time I put my attention on that, I remember how hard it was and how many inconsistencies that I had. And I want to feel good. I want to feel good about my spiritual journey. And intuition will make you feel great. It will, but it kind of takes you on this like really like loopy ride. It does. And you have to keep the faith. You have to keep the faith. So, hello, Tim. Hello, Christina. Welcome. Hello, Dawn. So, everybody put down your questions, and I'm going to get started in just a couple of minutes. And please stick around because if I am taking one of your questions, if I am reading your energy, you can interact as I'm doing so, and you can let me know if certain things resonate or that. It's always fun. It really is. So the whole thing with intuition, that's the ultimate learning curve in the beginning. What's my mind versus my intuition, or what are feelings versus intuition? Because feelings and your thoughts, they are different than intuition. You use feelings and thoughts within intuition, but it is not that in itself. So feelings and thoughts are our own. Intuition is not our own. Intuition comes from a higher intelligence place than us. It comes from something greater than us. Sometimes spirit or sometimes our higher self will use certain cues within our body or memories in our mind or thoughts within our mind to convey certain information to us, to let us know, oh, hey, this is what's going on. Even if you're like an empathic person, and this is a good example, sometimes people are very empathetic and they're actually not getting guidance from spirit per se, they're getting guidance from energy in a room, or they're getting guidance from like someone in front of them. Like someone could have a stomach ache and they're just able to tune into that because they're very empathetic and they can tune into another person's energy. That is your intuition, and that is psychic, but it is not a mediumship connection. Okay. And the reason it is categorized as intuitive information is because you did not get that feeling of that stomach ache from yourself. You got it from someone else. You got it from a source greater than just your individual self. When you do more spirit work and you do more reading work, you learn how to tap into, right, not yourself, others, and then a bigger collective. So there has to be some type of understanding, what's me versus another person's energy, what's me versus, something that where I'm not talking to me, someone else is talking to me. And you will have moments where you go, oh, it's somewhat like that. And you just practice and practice and practice. And I promise you, there will be a distinction. You can't just have it happen to you once, right? You have to practice. And so the more you practice, the more you build the distinction. And that distinction is quicker for some people than others. And that distinction is different for everybody. Everybody's receiving energy differently. That's what makes this work so beautiful. That's what makes this work so special. We all have different skills. We really do that. Like when we tap into our intuition, it's like a superpower. It's an extension of what is capable within our bodies. It's an extension of who we are. It's pushing the limits of what's possible because it's possible within everybody. And everyone is going to use that power differently. It's like everyone having a different superpower. Everyone has a different consciousness, and thus they're able to perceive and understand things differently. And so no one intuitive is going to do things the same way. There's certain truth principles and how energy works, yes, and that's why we have teachers. But I need you to know that. Okay, so we'll dive into it more, the self versus intuition. But I hope that gives you some perspective. All right, let's dive in. So, oh hey Sherry, good evening. Hello. All right. So let's take some numbers. And please, with your numbers, I always say this. In the United States, we do a month and then our day. And in the UK and Australia, we do the day and then our month. Okay. So it's flipped. So if you can write out your month, And like really make that distinction, like writing out like August or writing out September. It lets me know that I'm not going to mix up your numbers, okay? Because it does slightly change the reading. I need to know the placements as well as the numbers. Does that make sense? Okay, excellent. Okay, so Stephanie, you are first. January. Away we go. I always take a drink of water, well, tea in this case. We deal with a lot of fire element in spiritual work. Spirit is fire, it's the flame. You see that depicted in many different religions, how spirit is the flame. The Holy Ghost is often depicted as three flames, and so on and so forth. So you need to balance it out with that water. Can't get too hot, can't get too dry. That's the fire energy. Okay. Just doing the numbers. We got the 6 plus. Okay. And I'm getting your cycle. Okay. Yep. All right. So, and this is Stephanie. So, Stephanie, this is a little bit of a quieter year for you. I just wanted to acknowledge this for you. We go through different cycles in numerology every year. Every year they change. Every year it invites a different theme. And it is something that happens to us. Okay. Life can't always be go, go, go. Life can't always be slow, slow, slow. But there's a mixture of it. And that's how we learn about life. So this year, it's a cycle 7 for you. And 7 is the time for more relaxation, introspection. It's the time for you to be connected more to your spirit, to yourself, and really tackle some identity questions of who you want to be, what you want to do, and what really makes you happy. And in order to have those questions answered, you need to have more alone time. And life, since you are in the energy of 7, it will do things to kind of ensure that you are at that pace. Plans get canceled sometimes. It's almost like work production slows down and you're like, gosh, just last month was great. And last year actually would be great for you. Last year was a busy year. Last year was a very productive, life-changing year for you. So this is about, okay, slow down. Let's do more. And the great thing is next year you'll be in a cycle 8. And cycle 8 is all about manifestation. It's the physical embodiment of energy. So it's very powerful, but it's a double-edged sword kind of at times, this 8. So I'm going to say it like this. Next year, from all this hard work you've been doing, you can actually make a lot of money. Things could actually be really, really good. Or if you're not paying attention, if you're not slowing down, things still could be good, right? But there's going to be some fires that come up within the 8. And the reason why is because 8 is all about the manifestation of energy. So it manifests problems that you didn't look at, or it manifests successes that you built your energy up for. Okay. It also deals with health and the body a lot. So it's like if there's anything that is surfacing that you really have to take care of your health with, this is the year to do it, because your body will scream at you next year. Okay. So I hope that gives you some validation. Let's see, Stephanie, work slower, health issues. Yeah, there's a reason for it. It's, if we're going all the time, we can't properly assess things and strengthen. Okay. The whole point of slowing down is actually so we can strengthen, regather, and then next year it's like even stronger. Okay. So use that work is slower to look on yourself. You still are being provided for with work, so no, you do have that comfort, some kind of a cushion, right? So make type of peace with it being slower, and use that extra time to make sure your body is healthy and your heart is happy. And that's what's really coming in the strongest. Like, you have really good energy around people. You're good around people. You're an attitude one. So it's like, um I say this and I need you to acknowledge, because attitude ones, they're just like, if you don't acknowledge, or if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you'll just do whatever you want. Attitude one is all about like, okay, if I don't agree with this, if I don't find meaning in this, like, I'm just gonna, right? I'm good. I'll just do what I'm doing, or I'll find something else. So I humbly ask you to consider just like the slowing down and the self-care, and to put more time, energy, and money into your health. The money thing for your health is really important, because next year you're going to get back that money, because you've put the energy in health, you put the energy in growth, you put the energy in restoration. And so what's going to happen, you will be restored, and you will have the money come right back to you in the next year. So this is what I'm saying to you. Ultimately, take it easy and put extra time on your health. Okay, cool. I hope that makes sense. All right. So, Tracy, you're August 18th, 1973. Will my writing career go well? What a great question. Okay, so putting down your numbers. 1973. You're a personal day like Stephanie, Tracy, and personal day numbers are the energy in which other people see us. And so 9 is this kind of creative number that pulls people in. Sometimes it's mysterious to people. They're just like, wow, why does that person have this like energy where there's something about them? And the 9 is an old soul number, and it's a number of a very like high form of creativity. And so it has like this really complex, beautiful energy signature to it that a lot of people are attracted to. So when someone has a personal day of 9, like Stephanie and Tracy, you do, it's great, because you can always use that for people to take you more seriously. Um, how can I put that? It can kind of be a little double-edged sword too, because people go, "Oh, you know what you're doing? Great. All right. Just help me. You're a good person. Like, there's something about you. Just help me." And they might kind of take the help for granted, but they'll listen to you. Okay. So as long as you have boundaries, and as long as you know what you stand in, people actually do look and listen, and will remember you. So that's great for any kind of creative writing pursuit for just the get go. Okay. Let's pull some more of your numbers. All right. Cool. All right. In your life path. Okay. All right. And then you're in an attitude, cycle of 5. Okay. So your question is, will my writing career go well? All right. So right now, it's a little bit crazy. Okay. You're in a cycle 5, that things are moving, things are changing, things are kind of up in the air. The great thing about the cycle 5 is it kind of like inspires us to change, or it forces us to. So you're kind of like in this growth transformation energy that I'm, connecting to. And the cool thing is, like, you know what you want. When you get an idea, when you have a pursuit, like, you're like, I'm gonna do this. Okay. Or like you really, really feel strongly about it. So what's showcasing itself for me right now is you definitely have a passion for this. And really right now it's like, I'm just feeling like the energies are a little as passionate as you are, the energy is scattered. The energy for it needs a lot of discipline behind it. It needs a lot of patience behind it this year, because I just feel like there's other things besides the writing career going to come in and kind of be like, hey, pay attention to me here, pay attention to me here. And it's like whenever you have a free moment, you're like, oh great, I can write or I can expand on what I've been doing. I feel like busyness starts coming in. So this is kind of a chaotic year. Just heads up. What month are we in? We're in June. Um, Part of the great thing about June, so one, you're going to be more emotional in June. There's a lot of emotional energies coming up for you in this month. You can use that to write and you can use that to be inspired. It also, with a combination of things being so busy, it can be a little bit chaotic, that energy, where again, it is hard to focus. July is a great time for writing, though. July is a beautiful time for writing for you. So again, if you can kind of make this commitment to yourself of, I know I was pulled to write, and find the meaning behind what you want your message to get out there and be with others, as long as you're committed to that message, as long as you're committed to that importance behind why you need to write in the first place, you're gonna be fine. You just have to keep holding on to that. It's just a rather kind of interesting year. And what happens is we have strong ideas within us, we have strong passions, and as long as we understand the why behind them, right? And we really sit with it, it can evolve. The why can even evolve, transform, and change as well. And so give life to your passion, but also give it room to breathe and grow. Okay. So right now, I just feel like expression is really important to you. You have to figure out a way to speak more. Yes, I need you to be writing more, of course. But expression, feeling like that you are being yourself in the world and you are being seen in a way where people, when they meet you, you're expressing who you truly are. You're expressing, hi, I'm Tracy. And whether it's from the way that you dress or the words that you choose when you speak or the way that you make people feel, you enter the room, you express your energy, and people go, wow, this is you. Okay. So that's the energy that is coming forth, because I just feel like some of that energy is not completely out in the forefront. And that is complicating some of the writing. And also, it's just the year that the year is a little bit more complicated. Okay. So you going into next year, it's a year about service, it's a year about maternal energy, it's a year about kind of like recreating. I really feel like the creative juices and the meaning, the essence behind things is really going to solidify next year. So there you go. All right. So for Tracy, your husband had a question. He wants to know about his general future. All right, I'll do a card pull for him. Just gonna pull, let's see. So your husband is an attitude 2. And when people are attitude 2s, they're actually quite sensitive. They're more sensitive than most people realize or know. And so I'm kind of seeing like an energy theme, like both of you kind of hold back your energy around people. You could be more introverts. I would imagine some of that comes into play. And so kind of my advice for you was to like put yourself out there more. With your husband, he is more sensitive, so he does need time alone with himself, where he's not inundated by so much oncoming things. A lot of times when people are attitude 2s, if they're on a family reunion or some type of large group, or things are too noisy or too busy, you'll find them kind of hiding in the bathroom for a little bit, or like getting away or doing something where they can be like kind of in a more quiet setting, because it's just like too much stimulus. So just know that your husband actually has a lot of sensitivity within his nature. He could, some men like cover that up in different ways. So just continue to peel back the layers of the onion to actually understand he does have a lot of emotional makeup and emotional knowledge within who he is as a person. Just create the space for it. Um, okay, let's see. I wanted to pull a card for him, though. Let's see. He's an 8. You guys have the 8s in common. He's a 5 plus 6. Okay, wow. Yeah. You guys have a lot of 8s in your charts. That's great. 8s are meant to lead, and that's why with you and your husband, like if you're not doing something with like taking charge of your business, if like your husband's not in some type of management or leadership position with business, or if you guys haven't put your heads together and wanted to like do independent pursuits where you have income that is more like up to you on your terms, you really need to do that. You do have to put yourself more out there with people and opportunities. You possibly have already started with that, but business actually goes really good with your numbers. So I'm going to pull a card for your husband. Okay. So the card for your husband is all about being clear about the choices that he's making. And are some of the choices that he's making kind of causing him more stress, more suffering? Or are certain choices going to be better for his fun and his time? Right. So I feel like he's kind of at this crossroads where it's like it could be like a money situation, but one choice involves him having less freedom, and the other choice allows him to have more fun and actually opens up a lot more energy for him where he can just like live life on his terms. And it's like I think that'd be partnering with somebody too as well in order for that to happen. And it's like a little bit more off the beaten path. So you know, if he finds himself where things are restricting his freedom and he's not sure about the other outcome, just I'm really seeing that there's one path that leads to opening up energy and the other path leads to less freedom, less choice, less time. You want to go you want to go the path where you have opening up of energy, because it will continue to always to show you that you can have more and more money, more time, more freedom. If there's a choice where you get more money initially but you get less freedom, that's short term. Okay? The other path opens up more energy long term, and that's the more suitable path. So hopefully he can resonate to what I'm talking about. That's the card pool that I get for him. Um okay. So Stephanie, she would like guidance on how to support her son's behavior. What a beautiful name, Zuriel. Oh, I read for you, Stephanie, just a moment ago. Let's pull a card for you, though. And then I'm going to take Anna afterwards. Right. All right. So, what I'm getting with your son's Zuriel behavior, it's kind of like there's this waiting game. There's this period of, you know, how things kind of get worse before they get better. It's almost like when things are getting worse, all the information is coming up to the surface of what's really going on. Um, and you're able to communicate not only what you see, but actively communicate like, this is the problem. It's not great. It's not great. It's getting worse. But you get to communicate that and everything's out in the open, right? Initially, when behaviors are troublesome, sometimes like we kind of bury them and downplay them and be like, oh, this is a problem, but maybe it will change, and everything's coming to the surface so he can get the best help possible. Okay, so everything's kind of just out in the open now, and know that there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. So going forward, there's going to be this phase, and I don't think it's a quick fix. I don't. I think it's it's you learning about what you can do to best help them, and it's going to take tremendous growth and maturity within the family. And it's going to take a lot of restructuring. It's going to be a restructuring of your life, the family's life, and then of course your son's life, to really have answers to what works. I The reason I'm saying that is because I keep seeing the home, and I keep seeing like and feeling like this. There needs to be this restructuring of schedule. Even it's like, uh, but it's more than that. It's a restructuring of how you talk to your son, how your son feels. It's almost like this give and take. For some reason, like I feel like your son's so irritable that you could do something normal and it would just totally throw off your son, you know? And so there needs to be this complete restructuring of how you interact, and learning about how your son feels and receives things, because there's triggers going on that, again, no normally wouldn't be an issue with like kind of like a healthy child and how they're receiving things. But in this case, like normal simple things are creating actually big problems, and so it's going to take this learning curve. So I pulled like the winter card for you, for instance, and it was upside down. And the winter card is like is basically going into this desert period, but you come out on the other side of leadership and wisdom, and it's like this hibernation period. It's almost like this initiation you have to go to understand what's really going on. But I pulled the card and it was upside down, so it lets me know that there's kind of this, while the desert period is happening, there's going to be a lot of confusion and struggle. Ultimately, the home life gets stronger. Ultimately, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there are going to be answers. I really think like you need to go to. So I'm seeing like this doctor flash into my mind. They look like a pediatrician, of course, but maybe there's some type of reference to a pediatrician or a specialist working with your child. um I'm not going to push it if I don't get it clearly. I'm just going to honestly tell you what I get. But there's some type of, there needs to be more communications around like how things are affecting his body. Like I really feel like the behavior is connected to something physical. Um like there's something going on with the brain, there's something going on with just this, his system is just like, it gets too aggravated easily. It might be connected to the gut, but his system gets too aggravated easily. So please keep looking into things with his pediatrician. um if you don't like, if you're not sure what's going on with the pediatrician, go to a specialist, change, just don't give up. Just keep looking for answers, um, and just keep learning about how you can make the home life in your son's life better. Because there's an answer there. You're gonna have to dig for it. You're gonna have to dig for it, and there is a reason why he is suffering and having trouble with things going on. I hope that makes sense for you, Stephanie. I hope that makes sense. What can I do? Yeah, so I'm going to give that to you, Stephanie, because I feel like that's an important one with children. Um, yeah, that's an important one. All right, so let's take another one. All right. Tim says, I'm happy. I'm so happy I'm finally normal with something. Okay, cool, Tim. Yeah. Tim, do you have a question, Tim? I know that you were here recently, and I didn't get to take your question last week. Okay, you're putting down your birthday. I'm gonna make sure I do Tim. Tim was so patient last time he came in. And okay, good. Let's see. All right. Let's pull some numbers for Tim. March 22nd, 1960. Got that. So your attitude is a 7. That's great. Personal day is a 4, and life path is a 7. You're so 1. So, Tim, your life is going about your own way. You have to go your own way in order to be happy. You have to do things that people aren't going to understand. You'll find yourself in places where sometimes you are a lone wolf. You have an attitude of 7, and 7 is the number of wisdom and truth. It's a very analytical number as well, so you just have to make sure that you're not too much in your head. Anytime someone has an attitude 7, they have like increased air energy. They have a lot of cerebral energy, so their mind is very quick, their mind is very agile, but you have to make sure that your mind is balanced. And the reason why I say that, because you have excess energy within your brain. It's not just because you're overthinking things, it's actually naturally you spend so much time there. So with intuitive people, even more so, it's really important that you have grounding techniques. It's really important that you have techniques where you understand your energy and you understand how to move your energy down. It will actually balance your overall body. But yeah, you have to get into kind of rhythms of understanding your breathing and understanding pulling your energy into your heart and your stomach more. So what I highly suggest is there's different routes you can go and take it, but learning more about yoga or learning more about energetic healing like Reiki or chakra balancing, and to understand how that energy feels when it's stimulated, when it's opened up, and how your energy feels when it's balanced. It's almost like because you have to experience it to understand it. It's one just concept in itself to saying, like, oh, don't think so much, get out of your head, because it's not quite like that for you. It's just about using your energy differently so it's more balanced. So you have to have some type of experience to know what it feels like when your energy is stretched a certain way, when it's expanded a certain way. So that's what I highly suggest for you, and it will really be like kind of this aha moment, and it's gonna be super fun too. So I'm suggesting that, and then you're in a cycle of 4. Okay, so cycle 4 is great because it's all about kind of it's about growing your knowledge. It's about growing what you're capable of doing. So, but first, it's like a solidifying year. So, how can I put this? You're in preparation before you make a huge shift. Okay. And that preparation is kind of, again, it's perfect for your energy. It's actually very harmonious with the rest of your numbers this year. It's kind of like, you're almost starting to get methodical. Like, how do I want to change my life? And I'm going to add this, and I'm going to do this, and you know, this is what I'd like to do. So I'm going to kind of work on this, and it's kind of like you mull over things, right? And you reorganize things, and you will find yourself in a cycle for actually being much more diligent with schedule. You'll find yourself even changing your schedule. Like if if we're human, we're a collection of patterns, but in a cycle 4, usually patterns, you will have patterns, but you'll like change like the way you do things. Like, how can I put it? Example would be like, people normally wake up and they have coffee at 6 a.m., but for whatever reason you change to having tea at 7 a.m. and you find that 7 a.m. is just a better time for you. Or, you keep the coffee, but you have the coffee at 5 a.m. because so it's like there's these little tweaks and changes because your energy is surfacing, tweaking, and changing. And you go, I prefer this, I prefer that. So that's my advice to you, Tim. Really find a good teacher or an energy practitioner to show you about what is possible with your energy on the next level, because you can emulate and work with that. You just need to discover it, and then you can find the meaning of that through yourself. But sometimes we need somebody kind of to share something with us that we've just never had the perspective in. And this is a good year of prepping before actually things really open up next year. I actually feel like next year you're going to put yourself out there in ways that you just quite haven't yet. And it's all coming together this year. Okay. So, Sherry, all right, cool. Oh, I just hit something on my computer. How fun is that? Sherry. All right, Sherry. You are January. So you're an attitude 4, and you're a personal day 3, and you are, man, everyone's a life path 1 today. Wow. We always have themes. It's like, it just blows my mind. People's energy comes in pairs and themes. And I think I've had like 3 life path 1 people. Let's see, Sherry. Always double checking the math. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, Sherry, the theme for a lot of people is with life path 1, you have to go your own way. You have to do your own thing to be happy. So independence is a huge thing with not being bored and really going to the beat of your own drum. Like, you have to have space and independence within your job where you can exercise your own opinions, thoughts, beliefs. And if you don't have that, you'll always kind of feel cornered in. So if you can think back in any previous jobs, even though, you were always showing up to help and showing up to improve where you were in, it was almost like you felt kind of like boxed in. And, it's just like, it's like, I don't prefer it. I don't prefer it. And so it's like you and your boss would have to kind of be like on the same level, kind of eye to eye, have like a similar belief system for it to work. If not, it was like you would hightail yourself out of there. So that's important because not everyone's like that. Some people are like, it's a job, right? I'm here, and you're like, it's a job, but I'm gonna lose my mind if the person running the place is crazy because I don't want to be run crazy. So yeah, just heads up, that's the reason why you would feel that way. And you are personal day 3, so you naturally have people gravitate to you. I always like to talk about some of these things because you have a very good people attractor number. So people feel like very like safe. They feel like that you're friendly. They feel like you're approachable. And you can kind of like test this idea out where if you're in the grocery store or you're in an environment where a bunch of people just don't know each other, and if anyone has like a question, like they'll probably come up to you. you know, as opposed to somebody else, because you have a 3 personal day, and that 3 personal day is the number of friendliness, it's the number of communication, and it's a very lighthearted number. So if you ever have to problem solve or deal with people, actually you're a very good mediator for that on first impression. Okay. When someone's an attitude 4-2 like you are, they can be like very organized or very systematic, and they need that in their life. They really do. Like attitude 4 is about approaching life with a more organized, schedule-based approach. And it's number 4 is all about kind of like limits and balance. And so just acknowledging that anywhere within your life, if you feel like, your sleep or you're eating, like you're like, oh, it's so delicious, or I had so much fun, but you feel like you pushed it a little bit too much. Like, it's really about acknowledging your body, and it's really about being sensitive with your body and understanding, okay, this is just another way where I can understand myself. And so I can be more efficient. So learning about your body is increasing efficiency. And when you increase efficiency, you also give your body more energy. And when you have more energy, your body is in the state to heal more. It's in the state to be more regenerative. It's in the state to not be over encumbered, overburdened. It's in a state to kind of handle things where, you're not constantly trying to figure things out, because your body goes, thank you, I've received more, so I can do things behind the scenes and you don't have to worry about things. The reason why I say that is because I'm getting the indication that sometimes that your body just feels like it's taking on too much and the stress level is really high. And really it's just about learning more about what your body is and tweaking things, and living by like a little bit of a different rule with how you do things that you typically did before. Okay, I hope that makes sense. um you're in a cycle of you're in a cycle of one. So this is great. A cycle of one is new beginnings. And so you might find this year that you have more motivation to kind of go like, okay, this project is, I'm putting my mind to it. I'm putting my attention and my energy to it. And it's like you do have like this motivation and this gusto. And so I actually think that's beautiful, because that will pair very nicely with like you just making some adjustments and being more perceptive and sensitive to your body. Um, I hope that makes sense. Um, yeah, there's so much more I could say on it, but I hope that makes sense. I'm going to do one more just card pool, and we are going to be then coming to a close. So many different questions. It's so beautiful. So many different questions. I love it. Let's see. What did Tim say? Oh my God, working with Diet, everything opened up so fast. We had to pause and really learn how to spiritually ground. Yeah, yeah. Keep working with Diet. Keep ask her to show you more about Reiki. I know Diet works with Reiki, and keep asking her to show you some like energy exercises with opening up chakras, with sensing energy in chakras, because I know that she has some of those exercises. And yeah, once you figure out, you're like, whoa, my body can operate like this, you start to go, oh, maybe I need to do things differently because I've just been working like that. Right. And it's just, there's more to it. There's more to it. Okay. So, all right. Let's see. Valerie, you asked me, do you see me having a baby girl next year and when? Gosh, I'll let you know what I get. I'm not really with the baby gender questions unless it hits me smack in the face. I'm honest on it. It has to hit me smack in the face. Part of the reason is I used to see babies and I describe what they would look like. And it's like some little boys look like little girls, like long eyelashes and curly hair. I was just like, oh, talking about what I'm seeing. And I don't know if that's a girl or a boy. So I'll just describe to you what I'm picking up. Valerie. All right, I'm just going to tune into your energy, Valerie, one more time. I mean, I keep seeing like this little boy bouncing around you. It could be in reference to what you already have, because you're like asking about a baby girl. You're asking about a baby girl very clearly. And you're like, you probably already have a boy. I'm very aware that there's a boy in your energy field. Gosh. I just keep seeing like this baby wearing this red jumper. Um, and I feel like there's a boy in your energy field, definitely. So, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm letting, sometimes as readers, we just have to talk about what we're feeling. And if we don't have a clear cut answer, we just got to be honest. So I keep seeing there's this little boy bouncing on your knee. I'm going to say it. And then I keep seeing like this little other baby with a red jumper on, and it almost feels like an ode to another baby boy. Um, yeah, I feel like there's more boy energy. Again, I don't have a clear cut. Um, So just heads up, I don't know how many boys you have, but the next baby could be another boy. Um, and maybe the one after that, you can continue to the journey for a girl. I'm just feeling a lot of boy energy. I really am feeling a lot of boy energy. Um, that's not the be all end all. I'm just telling you what I'm feeling. I didn't get smacked over the head with like I said, a gender. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, the visuals of what I'm seeing. Okay? I hope that helps. I hope that helps. So with that said, oh, you have three boys. You have three boys. Oh no. Right? You have three boys. Okay. Can is one of the boys, I'm gonna try to tune in. Is one of the boys like really young, like under a year right now? Give me some of that feedback if you can, Valerie. It's one of the boys under a year old right now. I'm seeing if she is still on. Oop, I don't know if she's still on. 2 and 3. But you have three boys. So do you have any, you have one that's 2 and 3, but you said you have three boys. Okay, so maybe those are the youngest ages. Got it. Um, I just, I just really, really feel like if you go for another baby, it might be another boy again. I just, I keep seeing this flash of a baby, in this red jumper and this car seat. I don't. That's the vibe I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting. I'm aware of there is like this little girl energy around. I can't place it. I don't know if that's a niece. Can you take that? You do have a niece who is like around 2 or 3 right now. Can you take that? Because I'm acknowledging what this energy is of this little girl. Can you understand that there is a young girl? I'm gonna say around 3. She's 12. There's some type of little girl that has like lighter brown hair, so it's like a light brown hair, almost blondish when she was younger, but as she grew up, or as she will grow up, she'll have brown hair. But I see this girl, this little girl, and she has like this white, like little bow in her hair, but she has like a little ponytail coming out, and she's wearing almost like this little jean jumper with this pink shirt on underneath. And it's related to you and your energy field. It doesn't feel like a daughter, but it could be like, um could be a niece, it could be like one of your friends' daughters that you're currently seeing. But it's like when you asked me about a little girl and how a little girl relates to you, and if you were to have another baby, I keep seeing just this girl, but she's already in your energy field. Okay. um and it's like on the outside, it's on the outside in. I don't It doesn't feel like there's a soul waiting to just pop in regarding. So I'm just letting you know. And that's the feeling and the vibration that I'm getting off of just girls connected to your energy. Yeah, again, I'm not an expert in this field. I'm giving you my 100% on what I'm seeing and sensing. I have this feeling that if we go for another baby, it might be a boy again. Okay? You just have so much boy energy around you. Um, but please, regardless of what happens, I would love to know whether I'm wrong or whether I'm right. I'd love to know. I just try to push myself. I just try to push myself and learn more about energies, and learn more about little souls coming into the world and how they connect to their mommies and daddies. Something I like to learn about. So thank you so much, Valerie, and thank you for sharing about the babies that you do have around you and your family. I appreciate it. Absolutely, Valerie. So love and light to all of you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for putting down your questions. I will be back next week to read them and to tune in with your energies and just letting you know whatever I can get. Next Friday, same time. And then for the interview series on Wednesday, we'll be having Kelly Eckhart, a medium who will be with us. So we'll be learning about her journey and her story. She has a really fascinating way how she came into mediumship. So please, 2 different times next week. I will see you then. Go with love, light, and luck. And please live, everybody. Bye.